welcome to the special show of Storyboard. We're calling it Google Chat. Google Senior Vice President and Chief Business Officer Nikesh Arora is in India this week. The search engine giant's revenues in 2010 were close to $30 billion. And in the 13 years since it started, it has diversified into a plethora of online ventures and seeks to offer a digital solution for almost every real-life problem. On this show, Nikesh Arora is taking questions from the Storyboard community. So advertisers, creative agencies, media agencies and digital agencies have put in their queries here. Obviously, they didn't find the answers on Google. Nikesh, lovely to have you on this show.
Thank you for having me here, brother.
But they didn't find the answers on Google. Are you okay with that?
That's why I'm here.
All right. We're starting with what I call the nuts and bolts questions. Questions about Google's operations in India that directly impact the Storyboard community. Here are the first two.
With 45 or so million mobile users of the internet in India, and with Android becoming the bigger platform in India, bigger than iPhone and slowly approaching Symbian and other platforms, when are you going to take mobile advertising seriously out here in India? Isn't that the future, the way to reach hundreds of millions of people in India?
We understand that from the local team that Google plans to treat 2011 as the year of learning and experimentation on the mobile platform. The question I have for you is, how do you plan to leverage your leadership position in India to involve all your multiple stakeholders in this learning and growing process? And by multiple stakeholders, I mean your consumers, the content developers, the advertisers, and the marketers.
Mahesh and Jasmine, thank you very much for your question. I think we live in exciting times. We are in a time when people are beginning to use their mobiles for almost everything. I think we have hundreds of millions of mobile users in India, probably somewhere close to 20, 30 million smartphone users in India, and a few hundred million around the world. So clearly the mobile train is on its track and sort of forging ahead. 2011 is going to be a very interesting year. A lot of people are going to use a lot of different applications on their mobile devices. And as more and more the audience grows, advertisers are going to get more and more interested in trying to work with that audience. I think we're going to spend our time in 2011 is going to work with advertisers, help them understand the creative opportunity with creative agencies to see what kind of ads are going to be interesting for users, and then try and see if we can combine elements of location, elements of applications or things that people are using, and then try and get them sort of to get the ads in front of them. So,
Nikesh, if I can just add on to the theme of these questions, there's a certain impatience. We've been hearing about the huge numbers of mobile phone subscribers, and we also know about the potential that mobile phone advertising will offer, and yet nothing seems to be happening.
I think, to be honest, what's happening is we're all turning into an instant gratification society. We want our answers now, we want them, and part of the problem has been Google, right? You'll search for something, you get the answer. So we all want action and answers right now. I think it's early in this cycle of trying to get the mobile advertising in front of the users. So let's do this in phases. Let's get lots and lots of excited users. Let's get them using lots of exciting services. You know, $1 from a billion people is a lot more interesting than $10 from a million.
That's true. But in 2011, are we going to see anything specific in this market, in the world of mobile advertising, that Google is going to drive?
Oh, I think definitely. You know, we have an ad platform from a mobile perspective, which allows you to serve advertising on pretty much any smartphone platform there is. We have a system where advertisers can create ads and put them into this platform and get them out to users. So we are going to see continued development in that place, but I think we want to make sure that we get lots of excited users first.
Okay, we'll take the next question now.
Running IPL on YouTube last year was a masterstroke. What learnings from last year are you going to apply it this year? And more importantly, are you going to run IPL this year on YouTube?
Well, that's an interesting question. Well, we'd love to run IPL and many other sporting events around the world. Usually it comes down to negotiation on rights and money. So, you know, IPL was a very interesting experience last year. What we learned was we got a lot of usage from people, even within India, who were using their computers either from work or from home when they weren't in front of a television to be able to watch cricket live. You know, I understand the passion for cricket in India. But not only that, we found a lot of Indians outside of India watching the content from different parts of the world. And I think that's where the first phase of efficiency and interest lies. You can go touch 60 countries around the world without actually having to go to every country, find a television station will carry your
so
cricket.
You were happy with the IPL experience?
Well, we were phenomenally happy. We were very excited about it.
Is it going to be repeated in 2011?
I hope so. We'll find out.
Just 2 months away. I hope so.
I think
Google doesn't work on hope.
I think there
plan?
are still discussions going on between the various parties and stakeholders involved. We'd like to do it, but it depends on the economics and how it works out.
Okay. Next question.
Google search has been a phenomenon, and all of us in the world have been bitten by it. The question is about the black box. And in an age of increased transparency, would it not help at some point in time for it to be shared in whatever allowance it allows Google with the marketeers so that we have increased faith in the entire process?
Too opaque?
I think, Gaurav, this is sort of like the Coke formula, right? I think the important part is you've got to enjoy the taste. So you've got to enjoy the ROI of search advertising. And if that works for you, fantastic. Let's focus on the result. If the result is what you need, it's generating an ROI better than what you're having to spend, then it works. Why get inside the black box?
Okay, so Google's not opening up the black box, Gaurav. Next question.
Hi Nikesh, what I wanted to check with you is last time at Goa Fest, I had a chat with Sailesh Rao and we were discussing how could we involve mainstream creative guys to use Google and then the knowledge which Google has to create conversation with brands. And one of the thoughts which he bounced was, why can't we have an exchange of people from mainstream advertising coming and then working with Google for a couple of weeks or a month, and then have a couple of Google guys planted inside the agencies so that they can enrich the knowledge which agencies has or which they have to make agencies really build on this entire knowledge base which Google has to offer to the clients to build their brands. I just wanted to ask, can we take this forward?
I just feel that at least, and I'm talking largely about India, the creative talent in terms of sheer creativity that appears in digital seems to borrow heavily from, say, a conventional television commercial or a conventional campaign, but there doesn't seem to be creative talent operating in the digital space of a very high caliber. Do you agree with that? And if you do, why?
KV, I think the first and foremost important thing is we need to have a really detailed discussion. You and I need to get down to Goa and sit on the beach and have a long conversation about this. This is not something we can do in a short
But you're open to the idea?
I think definitely, KV
Okay.
and I too. But more interestingly, I think, more importantly, yes, we have plans in place where we work with various agencies out there. Whilst we're not creative on the digital front, we just understand the medium, we're able to tell you what's going to be effective. But it's really the combination of people from our team on the digital side and the creative people who can sit down and see how we take this revolution faster. I think to Agnelo's point, no, I don't think the creativity is there fully on the digital front. And it's early days. And I actually went back and did a thought experiment. I looked for a television ad and tried to find out what lessons can we learn. What was very interesting, the first television ad was a radio jingle playing and a man's hand moving a Barbie doll. So sort of like digital advertising in that phase, where we're borrowing from what we know, which is television campaigns, and trying to see how we can adapt them to the digital space. I do think a lot more creativity needs to be brought to bear, where we start thinking, what does this medium allow us to do, and then create campaigns which are efficient and work really well in this medium. And I think they're going to come.
Okay.
Given that the Indian advertising industry is primarily led by the leading groups in this country, where does Google see the Indian advertising agencies, especially the media agencies, in its entire plan? Does it see the Indian advertising agencies as enablers, or does it see them as barriers when it comes to digital advertising?
Interesting question. I guess from my personal perspective, advertising agencies, many of them get it. Many of them understand the digital revolution. They understand the opportunities that the digital medium is going to bring. And I think that medium in India is still sort of developing vis-a-vis certain other countries around the world. So I think for the agencies that embrace the medium, it's great, because what the agencies do wonderfully is they work with the clients, they work with the requirements of the clients, and then they're able to translate their requirements into the media that is needed and the creative that is needed.
But what about the media agencies who are actually doing the buying and advertising and allocating of client budgets?
In the digital space, you're seeing that the process of buying and the process of being creative in the media is sort of converging again, because it's impossible that you will create the same campaign on Google search that you will do on our display network or you will do on Facebook or on Twitter. So literally the campaign has to be aligned to the medium. In the past, you could just bought television across and allocate it across various channels. But now the medium has very specific characteristics. So you have to buy the medium and be creative on it. So I think in that context, agencies are going to embrace the digital future. We would love to work with
Currently,
them.
do you see them as enablers or barriers?
They're enablers because the evangelical opportunity with their clients is theirs. They need to work with their clients. Google is never going to hire as many people to go out and work with every client. We prefer working through agencies because we can work with their teams and hold the overall relationship with the client across multiple media.
Okay. Next question.
What are the new product lineup from Google for the small and medium business enterprises where the services are given as a self-serve model? Is advertising going to be a key revenue model in all these businesses?
I think in the SMB space, you have multiple opportunities. One is the whole opportunity to take the entire sort of internal IT to the cloud, because what we're noticing is, very interestingly, small companies, new startups, they're saying, I don't want to bother with legacy infrastructure, put servers into my domain, understand how to manage security, etc. I'm just going to go directly to the cloud. So they go use things like Google Apps, email on the cloud, hopefully in the future Chrome laptops. So that's a very interesting trend, which is going to impact how small and medium businesses operate and how related businesses operate. I think on the other end, there are other opportunities where small and medium businesses advertise on the web and they're able to create demand from their customers. So customers can sign up, or customers can find their products, customers can sort of be found using that process. So we have products on both ends. There is a self-serve model because if you want to keep the cost to the small business down, you want to take away all the frills and you want to be able to provide it in the most efficient, most low-cost manner. But then again, you can have models that get to be more premium if you want service.
Okay. Next question.
There has been a lot of curiosity and anticipation from the developer community on Chrome OS. What's Google's plans for Chrome OS and developers of India?
You just mentioned Chrome laptops.
I did. Prashant, I am personally very excited about Chrome because I think just like Android, where we created an operating system for mobile phones, which was sort of designed for the connected device, Chrome is that equivalent for laptops, where we've designed a secure operating system, and we hope that it's sort of the operating system for the future for the cloud. And in that context, I think we've opened the opportunity for developers around the world to be able to develop on Chrome, which is one part of it. But I think similarly, we found great success in India, where Chrome browsers have a market share of over 25%. So we think, or we hope...
Was that before or after the advertising campaign?
I think it's been a steady rise. I think it's been a steady rise. And I think the more usage has come from people using it, enjoying it, and sort of word of mouth. But having said that, I think Chrome OS or OSs which are designed for connected devices and for the cloud are the future. So it's a tremendous amount of faith and hope behind that product.
Okay.
Google TV. Everyone's excited about it. How and when is it going to impact India?
Kunal, Google TV, I think, is in its early days. I mean, Google TV fundamentally is taking your TV, which was connected to the broadcast network, and internet enabling it. That's what it does. And once you internet enable it, your opportunities and options become way more. You can search on your TV, you can find programming both on the web, on YouTube, or on your broadcast channel. Because my fundamental belief is we've all been kept captive by television, no offense, and rather, but you guys decide when we should watch something and what we should watch.
But you're liberating us. You're the liberator.
Exactly. There we go. So I think that we need to get liberated from the sort of the pre-planned programming, and the way to do it is allow more sort of control to the user.
And so Kunal's question was, when are we getting it?
Soon.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to zoom out a bit and look at the zeitgeist in Google these days. Is the culture at the world's most famous technology company set to change? And how much does Facebook have to do with it? We'll be back in a bit.